All right, y'all, we're gonna wash these dishes together and talk about gentle parenting while black. Now, this concept of gentle parenting, it's not new. Honestly, it's not new. It is really along the lines of the conscious parenting that we see, which really being a conscious parent means, in my definition, being a present parent, aware of your own emotions, aware of your own triggers, and not projecting those things onto your children. Now, have I fallen into the trap of that? Absolutely, because a lot of times we find ourselves parenting from the way that we were parented, whether that was a positive experience or a negative experience or both. Because at the end of the day, our parents more than likely were parenting us for the very first time. And sometimes we forget that what they had is what they had to give. Not everybody was seeking out more, something different. People didn't have the access to what we have access to now. And as a millennial parent, I think that's important. Yes, that we acknowledge the traumas, the experiences that we had, but that we also understand that that's not what defines us. And it really wasn't what defined our parents. It was something that they experienced, and they probably didn't have no language to figure out what to do differently. So many of us that have multiple children, we know that our first child sometimes was like our beta child. And because I had my son when I was 19 years old, he was definitely the one who has grown up with me and has seen me in every stage of parenting and has experienced even my own fears and traumas parenting him. And what's so beautiful about that is, though, he's seen my evolution and he's seen my healing, but he's also seen the breakdown and the dynamic between the relationship that I have with my mom, but his relationship that he has with his grandmother, which is my mom. Now, one of the things that I had to understand and even talk to God about was learning how to truly forgive her, because I felt like I was so short sighted with many of the things that I received and or didn't receive in my childhood that caused me to parent initially the way that I did. But you can only use that excuse for so long. And so when I decided enough was enough, you need to heal, which came through me having my second son and the breakdown in that relationship. And ultimately, y'all know how people say, like, you choose you either choose your father or you choose something that you're desiring to see. Well, I don't think I did either. I almost know that I chose based off my brokenness, but also because of the fact that I dealt with so much rejection that I had a control problem. Yeah. And a lot of us have control issues. And so we think that we can choose partners based off of that. And then when we have our children, what we're trying to do is control them as well. And we're not meant to control our children. We are meant to steward our children and lead them according to the plan for their lives, not our projected plan for their lives. And so when we think about gentle parenting, especially as a Black woman, I think about being present. I think about presence being mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. And then there are systemic things that happen that try to prevent us from being present, and we have to figure out ways to work through that. I've had to understand that it's not selfish to take time for myself. I don't go by the philosophy, my kids come first. No, my kids are always going to be in my life in an order of my life: God, me, them. If I'm not together, they can't be together, because if I'm only pouring into them and I do not pour into myself, then the message that that's sending to them is I don't matter as soon as I assume the role of a parent. That's not being gentle. That's not being a gentle parent either. And so for me, as I have looked at the terminology, looked at what it means, I have tailored it to what I want my experience to be in parenting as a Black mother, as a Black single mother right now, because I ain't gonna be single for long, y'all. But it really is about being present, being available, having conversations that I never had in my childhood, allowing them to experience life with me, not apart from me. So we have a lot of experience together. We have a lot of hard conversations together and funny conversations, and being able to hear their perspectives. Having an almost 17-year-old son that wants to still hang out with me is a flex for me, because that means that I thank God that I was able to heal enough for him to say my mom is safe. That is gentle parenting to me. Being a safe parent doesn't mean that you're always going to approve of what they're doing. No, you're human just like they're human, and you guys are in a relationship, because I teach that all the time, that parenting is a relationship. But as long as you are being respectful in that relationship, communicating in that relationship, setting the boundaries and guidelines in the relationship, you don't always need to flex your authority. As long as they know that you are the one that they can come to, that's perfectly fine. So my desire, honestly, for us as a community of people, and I see so many more moms and dads operating in this mindset, is being open and honest with your kids. Not always having that strong hand on them. Yes, we know life is going to teach them, and that's ultimately the job of life, because it has taught us, it taught our parents, it taught our grandparents, it taught our great-grandparents what we should be doing as far as gentle parenting is concerned, as well as is setting them up for this life. So that way they are not breaking barriers that we could have broken because of our own inability or our fear of healing or doing something different. So, yeah, that's gentle parenting to me.